So you would have had expressions about, you know, having the right people on the bus. It's got nothing to do with the bus, but see, that one is empty. But it's making sure that you have the right people within the team, within the organization, and by implication, getting the wrong ones off the bus. It's as important, you know, to get the right people off as it is to actually get the right people on it. You know, and you have all seen this, whether it is within your own department or even within your own private life. You can never motivate the wrong people to do the right thing. It's always challenging. You know, it is a struggle. So why waste time trying to educate people who can never do the right thing? Now, the right people have to be in the right place at every level. So, for example, I talk about the right people in the bus, but sometimes the driver himself or herself might be the wrong person. And so that also needs to be corrected, and the person above the driver has to make the right decision about the department head, the manager, or indeed the director. So that's a really, really important thing. You know, you would hear things about, you know, we need the right level of support, so we need strong shoulders. But if the head is rotten, it doesn't matter how strong the shoulder is. And so you've got to have the right mix, both the troops, the middle managers, as well as the leadership. The third point that I would highlight is the issue around acting based on what data tells you as a manager. When you are in business, there's a lot of time when people are biased by their own preferences. We're all human beings. We prefer to sleep on one side of the bed. I'm sure all of you at home do exactly the same. You come to bed, you have one side. And so it's no different in place of work. You have biases, preferences, and that actually tries to influence how things get done. You have to be, as a manager, make sure that you get guided by brutal facts. If data and facts are telling you this, try and do something about it. Not because you have decided and announced a year ago this is what you're going to do, and what you have chosen to do and told the public, the facts tell you this is the wrong thing to do. So you've got to be prepared, and that's the agility that I talked about earlier on, for you to be prepared to shift things around well. The fourth point, I guess, is the issue around the hedgehog versus the fox philosophy. What a lot of organizations do is to make a choice between being good at very many small things, or actually having a really one big thing that you can outline to the business as a whole. So leaders who actually practice the hedgehog philosophy tend to answer three sets of questions generally. The first one is to ask yourself, what is it that we are good at? What are we best at? And you can't be best at everything. So you've got to ask yourself, as an individual, as an organization, where do we have a competitive advantage and where are we much better at the competitors? The second one is the issue around what are we really passionate about? You might be really good at doing something, but guess what? It might not be the thing that will get you out of bed in the morning to actually say, I enjoy doing this. Because when you really are passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work. You really enjoy it. And the last bit about that, philosophy is really about, yes, you can be great at something, you can be passionate about something, but does it make you feel money? The danger of indecisiveness and the danger of things taking a month to get resolved, it's always going to cause businesses problems. So you hear organizations and leaders talking about, well, why does it take us 1 month to get an approval to buy a stationery? Or why does it take 10 months to get somebody to go and trade in this particular area? So execution are of different nature. There are some that really are simple to make. And a key way to get that is just to make sure that you empower people effectively to make some of those decisions. The more you centralize decisions, the more execution at speed becomes a real dilemma. Now there are some difficult, big decisions that have organization-wide implications. Those are by their very nature likely to take a bit more time, more consideration by people who are, both at different levels, including in some cases shareholders. So I would say, as you recognize the dangers of not making decisions quickly enough, I think that should be good enough motivation for people to start working ways towards them. Now, how do we do that? We reward people for executing at speed. One of the things that we do within the bank is we set people objectives. We want you to achieve X. That's the objective. When you assess those objectives, you assess them through two dimensions. One is, have you met those objectives? It's what people refer to as the what. You deal with the what. Yes, I have delivered 100% of my objectives. Wow, you are an A-star on that basis. The other lens through which we look, and that's really important for both of us, those people who are in leadership, is how did you achieve that? Did you achieve that by trumping and stepping on people's heads? What was the culture that you created? What was the attitude? Did you take people along with you? Did you do that through different mechanisms that are probably not ethical and so on and so forth? And oftentimes people can meet the objectives, but how they do it sometimes is not aligned to business. So they get downgraded. And so the short answer to your question is, it's identified as an objective. What are some of the decisions that you have made, organizations, how quickly did you make it, and how are they aligned to the wider organizational objective? I think just remind me the other two questions.
The other one is on the risk.
The risk.